Hey everybody, I'm Scott Oots, and today I'm going to talk to you about my first deal. Alright, it's basically story time. We're going to go back to a time pre-COVID.
We got plans up here that's gonna take this company into the stratosphere!
Alright, have a seat by the fire. Maybe grab yourself a nice cup of hot cocoa or something.
So sit back, hold on to your ornaments, guzzle a little eggnog, at least that looks like eggnog, and prepare yourself.
And we're going to go back pre-COVID, pre-Donald Trump in the White House. We're going to go back to 2015. We're going to go back in time.
2015? You mean we're in the future?
Back when I was getting started, I was in the same position a lot of you guys are in right now, where you're going, oh my gosh, I'm marketing, I'm calling people, but I have not gotten to that deal yet. Now, my first deal took me about 2 weeks. So we went ahead and started doing some general marketing, sent out a few postcards, getting a few calls in, but of course, most of these people, oh heck no, I'm not taking a discount on my house. I had no idea what I was doing. People are calling in. You got kind of that shaky voice a little bit as they're calling because you're so nervous. You don't know what the heck you're doing. Now, finally we had a lead come in from Riverside, California. So this lead here, the lady called us and she said, hey, I inherited the house. My son currently lives there right now. It's close to his college, so he lives there while he goes to school, and I'm considering selling it. I said, okay, great. And immediately at that time, I asked her like 2 questions. And then I got in the car and I set the appointment with her, got in the car, and I went. And I showed up at this house, walking up to the door, man, I feel like I was like sweating, my pits are sweating, sweat coming from my forehead. Like, I have no idea what is gonna happen when this person answers this door, right? I'm expecting this lady to answer this and just kick me out immediately. I'm thinking every scenario in my head, and honestly, I'm like, in my mind, I was trying to say, I'm gonna get this, but on the back end, I'm like, oh my God, I have no idea what I'm doing. How could anyone possibly sell their house to a punk like me? So I'm walking up, of course, it's the house with the longest driveway in the world. So it gave me time to really think and get more nervous as every step I took. It's like, oh my God, I'm gonna fail. Oh my God, she's gonna kick me out. And every single step was something else. I'm looking at this house, trying to be professional. I got my clipboard with me and I'm taking notes as I walk up. Oh, it needs new boards around the garage, and I didn't know any of the terms. I didn't know any of the stuff. I go up, I knock on the door, and this kid answers. I said, okay, great. And I ask for my seller, and he says, oh, she's not here. In my mind, I'm like, wait, she's not here? What do you mean she's not here? One of the questions I never asked is, am I gonna meet you at the house? That was a question I missed. So apparently she had no intention of being there. I was just gonna go walk this house. And immediately I feel like an idiot. So make sure you guys always ask, when is a good time to meet you at the house? Are you the only decision maker? Oh no, a husband is? Okay, I should meet you guys both there. When's a good time I can meet you both? Well, I didn't do that. So here I got this kid, about 19 years old, and answers the door, and he said, oh, you're here to see the house? And I said, yeah. So he said, go ahead and take a look around. I'm like, all right. So I'm walking through this house, looking at everything, taking pictures. And I said, okay, it's your mom, right? And he said, yeah. I said, well, is she gonna be here soon? Oh no, she doesn't live here. She lives a few hours away. I said, oh my God, she had no intention of ever actually being here. So I'm walking this, looking at the pool in the backyard, great little house. But what happened by not verifying that she was gonna be there is it took away my ability to really build rapport with her. And here I am talking to this kid that I'm like, all right, I got to try to build some rapport with this kid, but he didn't care. He was just sitting there watching TV while I walk around him looking at his house. There's no rapport building at that point. Now maybe I could have sat down on the couch with him and started watching whatever he was watching, but that would just be a little awkward. So I looked at it and I said, okay, great. So where are you going to move to when we get this all done? Well, I'm not moving. Well, okay. Well, how's that going to work? So I don't know what to say, right? I just go ahead and just, okay, man, thanks so much for the time. I'll give your mom a call. And I walk out the house. I think I'm sweating worse at that point because I'm like, man, this was a disaster. This is never going to work. So I get out, I get in the car, get myself kind of situated, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna call this lady. So I dialed her up, she picked up, and I said, oh, I thought I'd see you at the house. She goes, oh no, my son's there. And I said, oh, I know that. So I started talking to her about it, and I of course am nervous as hell to give an offer. I have no system to give an offer. I basically just take the offer, do the guru mentality where I go 70% minus repairs and throw the number out to her. Well, I can give you this price for your house. Oh, no, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Oh, okay. Well, we tried. If you change your mind, give me a call, let me know. Bye. Click. That's it, right? Nervous. So finally I said, you know what? I can't let this lady go. So I wait till the next morning, I call her back and I said, hey, here's the deal. I'd like to get this done. Where do I need to be to get this done? And we talked for probably like 45 minutes. She said, well, we got to find my son another place to go to. And I said, well, it sounds like your son's not really wanting to leave. And she's like, well, he will. It's not a big deal. Basically, I need to find her son an apartment nearby. He had his list of demands on what he needs for an apartment. So she told me all these things. The lady told me that the price she needs, I'm actually not that far apart from the price. So we went ahead and worked it out. I think at that point, I didn't even negotiate her down. I just said, okay, great. I got a deal under contract. Yay. So I sent her the contract to sign. I actually had to send it to her US mail. I had no DocuSign at that point. So I had to send that to her. I gave her a prepaid label to send it back to me. So took about a week and a half to actually get that contract back. Now, here it comes, best day. I rip open the envelope and there's the signed contract. And I'm like, yes, let's do this. Oh, wait, I don't have any buyers. Small details, right? I did not have one person on my buyers list, but I locked up a contract. So I start doing what everyone's doing. Immediately, I'm throwing it on Craigslist, trying to find buyers. At that time, I had a system through my mastermind where you could pull some cash buyers from. So I went ahead and pulled those, started calling everybody. I went to some of the addresses, knocked on the doors. Finally, get approached by a company that said, hey, I buy like 200 houses a month and I can buy these from you. No big deal. I just need to get an investor walkthrough. Well, that company happened to be a very well-known glorified wholesaler that takes the properties, marks them up, sells them to someone else. So they have their investor walkthrough. They bring about 10 people through. Guy shows up in like snakeskin boots, out of his Mercedes. This guy here, just complete ass from day one. But he comes through, deal's just not working. He's walking all over me. And I'm like, man, I don't care if it's my first deal or not. There's no way I'm going to deal with somebody like this. So I started hitting the buyers list again. I started calling. Then finally I met 2 people, real nice people. They showed up in a bright yellow Hummer, real good dude. So he shows up, walks the house, and he says, yeah, I think this will work for us. They were looking for rentals for college students. So this house is great for college students. It's got a pool. I mean, you can imagine the parties they're going to throw there, right? So he walks through the house with me and he says, wow, I think this is actually going to work really good. So he gives me an offer, and the offer was going to net me about, I think it was going to be somewhere around 10 grand at that point. And I said, okay, 10 grand, this is fantastic. But then I realized, man, I got to find this kid a place to live. Well, it turns out they also wanted me to put down the deposit and pay for this kid to move. So just as I get my buyer contract signed, I feel like everything's going perfect. They say, well, wait, he can't afford to move. And I'm like, well, wait, you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars in this house. You could afford to help your son move then. But that wasn't the case. So I had to, that's going to make your investors money. If it is a good deal, you'll sell it. That's not that big a deal. Just don't commit to a 7-day close on your first deal. Make sure you allow yourself some time to actually move the property. I will never forget that first deal. I will never forget the rush I had once I got that contract signed. I will never forget how much I sweated, how much I felt like an idiot. And just everything I was doing was wrong at that point. At the time I was getting started in this, there wasn't a ton of YouTube videos out there. There wasn't a ton of free content that was helping me learn what to say to a seller. Now you look at it, like even what you're watching right now, these videos were created to help people get going. So you can avoid the mistakes that I made when I started my business. So watch this free content. Look at some of these people out here. Flip to Freedom, Sean Terry, he's got some killer content on YouTube. Check out mine. Check out Max Maxwell's content. Check out the All In guys, Carlos Reyes, he's got some really cool content out there. So if you guys look at this, you guys should be able to get to your first deal through your 10th deal by utilizing the free resources on YouTube. Then you look at things like masterminds, then you look at coaching programs, then you look at mentors, then you start spending money on those things. But to get started, you guys can do this just by free YouTube videos. So, my first deal, $4,244.17. We have come a long ways from that. When I joined my mastermind, we went to $1.5 million in the next year, and we've continued to grow from that. We've grown really fast. Like I said, I thought this would be something that was just me and my wife forever as a hobby. But now we've got a team of 12 people. We're doing millions of dollars a year in revenue. We've got some cool stuff coming. We're in multiple states now, and we are going to continue to grow. So do not get discouraged by not getting $50,000 on your first deal. Get out there and get that signed. I don't care if you make $1 on it.
Let's not forget the other boy in the band, George Washington. He's a little lonely, wants to join his buddies.
Get it signed because you need to learn the process. And while I can try to teach you everything I did wrong, you're gonna have your own trial and error. You gotta get out there, lock up the deal, start building relationships with buyers, and then as you get deals going forward, you're gonna start finding out you're getting systems and processes in place that's helping you get from step one through closing. And as you start getting that point where you're realizing what it is you need to do, it becomes actually just very easy. Then you start doing more marketing, more leads, more deals, and pretty soon you're like, man, where did the time go? Another year has gone by and I've got another 3 people on my team and we're continuing to grow. So it's an exciting thing to do, but growth is not without pain. As we've continued to grow this business, more money, more problems, more deals, more problems, you start running into things. You think a $4,000 deal falls out hurts at that time? Imagine a $70,000 or $100,000 deal falling out because there's a title problem or something like that. More deals, more problems. So make sure you guys build your foundation first. Get that first deal, get that second, third, fourth, fifth, and continue to build processes. Don't go from 10 deals to 100 deals without building processes. Think of it this way. A construction company is building a house. They go quick on the foundation, they don't make sure it's level, they don't do it properly, then they build the house. Eventually your foundation cracks and you start running into problems. So build your foundation first and then grow your business from that. And by foundation, I mean build your processes, build what you expect. Don't bring on an employee with nothing outlined on how you do things. Take time in the evening, start making training videos on how to use your systems, how to talk to sellers. That way when you bring somebody on, you're prepared to fully train someone and you end up developing somebody that does things the way you want it done. And as you start growing more and more and more, you're gonna appreciate that. You're gonna appreciate having that strong foundation within the company. Therefore, you can grow faster without having to go back, right? I've seen so many people that grow their businesses and they're 4 years in and they realize they haven't documented one process. Now they have to step back to day one and start building all their processes. Then their team doesn't like change. You got a lot of problems. So build your foundation first, then continue to do it. But right now, get your first deal. Then figure out how did I get that deal and how can I turn that into second deal, third deal, fourth deal, and so on. So that's the story of my first deal. Hopefully this helped and motivated you guys. We'll talk to you guys later.